In its second decade, PFA continued to advocate for the industry on issues such as flammability and environment, but realized that there was still much work to do to help many key audiences understand the properties of flexible polyurethane foam products. PFA formalized the technical sessions at its meetings, beginning to archive presentations and technical papers. This archive has proven to be a widely used resource with more than 350 presentations now accessible to professionals. Topics cover everything from product innovations to interpretations of regulations and address a wide-ranging spectrum of foam application. In 1991, PFA began a series of printed technical bulletins called In Touch that explained various foam properties and applications. Originally a subscription service to offset printing costs, the In Touch series is now free for download and has continued for 30 years. Today, there are 23 issues of In Touch bulletins accessible on the PFA website, and they're one of the most widely used of PFA's education programs. The 1990s also saw the culmination of a multi-year collaboration between foam producers and upholstered furniture manufacturers on foam properties and quality. The Joint Industry Foam Standards and Guideline is an 82-page document covering standards for all types of foam used in upholstery construction. PFA and the American Home Furnishing Alliance worked closely with individual member companies on this project, which has been a key educational tool for both industries and greatly reduced misunderstandings between foam producers and their customers. Bobby Bush Jr., president of PFA on 3 occasions, recalls,
It really was an unusual event because we had chemical manufacturers, we had foam manufacturers, some of whom were fabricators, they were independent fabricators, there were fabric, textile mills, and of course there were furniture companies. And they really just wanted to make sure that expectations were kind of understood and wanted to formalize them. And they also wanted to make sure that that the language we use was similar as well.
PFA's regulatory issues work continued to be a bottom-line benefit for foam producers. When the EPA introduced new stormwater permitting requirements, PFA worked with the agency to allow foam producers to apply as an industry rather than individually. This saved foam producers tens of thousands of dollars. PFA also coordinated efforts within the industry and pioneered solutions for reducing emissions of the raw material methylene chloride, sometimes used as a solvent and an auxiliary blowing agent, to meet the EPA's national emission standards for hazardous air pollutants, NESHAP, regulations ahead of schedule. And in keeping up with the new digital age, PFA rolls out its first website, www.pfa.org, becoming one of the first trade associations to have a presence on the internet. This early adoption is one of the reasons PFA still shows up at the top of search results with many keywords related to foam. By the end of the decade, the pressure was building again for a national flammability standard for upholstered furniture, with further complications that could affect the foam industry. The National Association of Fire Marshals petitioned the Consumer Product Safety Commission to establish a national standard, putting more pressure on the CPSC. At about the same time, Congress funded an independent study by the National Academy of Sciences National Research Council concerning health risks posed by exposure to flame retardant chemicals that would be used to meet such a regulation. 20 years later, the key issue that had led to the creation of PFA had gotten more complicated.